Check this right forward. Yeah. You can start right there.
Okay, all right. All right, welcome to the first board meeting of calendar year 2025. Woohoo! Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda as it was presented to you?
So moved. Gwen?
Second?
Second. Dan?
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. That carries. We do not have any stakeholder comments tonight, so,
No.
right?
No, we don't.
Okay, all right. So we'll move on to approval of, you had two sets of minutes in your packet, the December 9th regular board meeting and then the December 30th special board meeting. So can I get a motion to approve minutes? All right,
Kelly second.
okay. You get those, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Let's do it. Governance.
Yeah. So just a couple things for governance. One, everybody has on your calendar January 28th for a happy hour. I did add a location just earlier today. There is a private room at Cliff's Cat House that is just down the street, just a couple blocks away, that we will have. So we are excited to have everybody together. Make sure to accept or decline the calendar so we know who to expect. It has been quite a few years since we've done sort of a social gathering. We sit at this table many times, but don't really know a lot about each other. So we're looking forward to having a little bit more informal time, and we'll ask everybody to just come prepared to engage in conversations, to just get to know who is it that you're sitting next to. We might even have a couple prompts for you. We're still working on that. We'll let you know. I know. So come prepared to have some great conversations, because I think we have an awesome group of board members that we don't necessarily know each other very well, other than the conversations we have at this table. So we are excited about that event.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Mr. Bang, I'll let you talk about sort of the new policies that you're going to propose.
So these are proposed policy, you can talk about it, but we will vote on these policies at the next board meeting or following, depending. It's just starting for you to understand, and then I have time also to look at it. The artificial intelligence policy is proposed by the Missouri Consultants for Education. Is the one who gave us our policy, the one we bought it from. So they updated it in November 24th. So whether or not you can review it under the next board or no, that's fine. But it's part of the package they sold us. So either we add it there or do we need to adopt it?
I need to see it. I don't know that you all have it. Is it a mandatory policy or is it a suggested policy?
It's a suggested policy because everywhere I have been, including DESI's trainings, DESI's conferences, they all recommend heavily that to have an artificial intelligence policy. So, so I'll share it with you.
Okay. And I don't want y'all to promise what you have to do.
Yeah, it's part of the package. I don't know if it is too much or no, because we can find different other policies somewhere else. But I add it here so that the board can look at it, and you will look at it for the next month. We can vote on it.
And so Dana, if you, and maybe we can send you the direct links to it to review, and then we'll send out direct links to everybody. It was in the board prep folder, just because we want people to make sure you have the opportunity to see policies, but we'll send direct links to it as well to make sure you have a chance to review before you vote on it. Okay. So what was your question?
What was the highlights? Like, what did it?
Well, the mainly is how to use artificial intelligence as a teacher and so on. That's what it is, mainly. Because you need to start governing it as opposed to until people can go and do whatever they.
So when you write a paper, you can use AI.
Yeah, every school district almost is having that policy.
And it is important, I think oftentimes we see in education there's a hesitance to just not let any of it allowed, but in the business world, everybody does use it, and so we have to teach kids how to use it responsibly and ethically, as opposed to just saying, no one is ever allowed to use it. So yeah, I think it's an important conversation to be having, not just at the policy level, but really with teachers about what does this look like in the classroom.
I will share it if you can look at it for the board meeting, so we can we can adopt it. Just make sure that we're not behind with all the things happening in education. The district is putting together a technology, artificial intelligence, and innovation committee for teachers. And the goal is to look at the horizon, what's coming up in the world of education that we can test, implement, or not implement. So artificial intelligence will be helpful with personalized learning, making sure for differentiation, and so on. So, and teacher prep and so on is helpful. The next one is this one, the graduation requirement policy. Is currently that's what we have as the state. It also comes from our consultant. It is what is required by the state, 24 credit. That's what is required. That's what we're having so far. So, but it's not really in line with what we do, what all the things we're doing. So you see what we're doing. We are proposing. There are 3 tracks over there. The one is IB track, because for the IB1, which is the middle, you have 27 credits. For the college and career readiness, also 27 credit. Not for the college readiness, sorry. For the career and technical education track, because you have some of our students taking a credential from Manual Tech. And then it's part of you see the red one I put, this is where the major difference is there. The red part is, 4 of them are from Manual Tech. If they take a whole class of, let's say, automotive collision for 4 credits, that's what they come. The maximum they can get from there is 8 credit for 2 years. Or EMT is only for the last year, 12th grade, is 4 credits. So that's what we're counting for the graduation. They go there at 7:30, at 7:30, and then come back here to continue. So that's why we have it this way. The IB requirement is there also. One of our specificity is language. We require all our kids to have 2 years of language at least, 9th grade and 10th grade. If you come from outside, you take French, 9th grade and 10th grade. If you're from here also, our school, you do it. But if you want to continue, you can continue too. That's what we're trying to capture over there for the 2 credits. Now, the discussion we have a discussion in the leadership team for kids who may come in 11th grade or 12th grade. So they have 1 year of language, yes or no. What do we do? Should we allow that or not? Should we ask them to take 1 credit during the summer, example, something like that? But I think in the public schools it's required of 1 credit of foreign language. So we require 2.
And I think that's more in line what colleges oftentimes require. They like to see more language, I remember.
It's helpful because, it's helpful for our kids, even for the world of the job, getting second language, Spanish or French. Yeah.
So, I looked at, the elective, the CTE over at Manual, that would allow junior and senior year. It's a 2-year program,
it's 2-year
correct?
yes.
They're electives.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure of that.
That's why you have those 4 of them, and they can take another elective of their choice, of course.
And I do think making space for those career opportunities is really critical. It really helps get students excited.
A really good option.
Yeah, we're exploring other opportunity for the kids, like getting on board with the real world learning movement, and also look at the community college, Penn Valley, what kind of partnership we can develop. But there are different internship, apprenticeship, and so on. So part of our board policy, I think, also talked about.
So is the CTE at Manual the only option, or could there be other options within that career tech ed?
At this point, that's the only one we have.
Do you know, for instance, if a student had an internship somewhere?
That's something that we are trying to get involved with. For
Okay.
internship, apprenticeship, or other things that can be high school credit. So because that's what's
So there's
happening in
going to
the
be
country.
some flexibility
Yeah,
kind of built in
that's-
that you're not just locked into Manual?
No,
for that.
no, we're not locked into manual. It's just a partnership.
Okay,
If tomorrow we have something else,
right.
but I think they're doing a great job. It's
No,
easier,
absolutely.
it's simpler. They go there and then they take the EMT or construction, credential, water management, and preschool, yeah.
As you're looking at possible partnerships, I think Penn Valley has some great options, as does the Advanced Technical Skills
Yeah.
Institute that's just around the corner as well. And so I think
Yeah.
exploring both of those through NCC.
Yeah, Lisa C is our counselor, is doing a fantastic job, and we're working together, and she's looking at all the things, and then we're planning also to meet with school smart people who are in charge of the real world learning, and then see what we can offer, you know. So I think that the opportunity is good for some of our kids.
Right. Yeah. And it keeps us competitive with the region. I think
Yeah.
most schools have moved in that direction to do more real world
Yes.
learning. And
Yes.
so in order for us to continue to be competitive with the others around, I do think that's an
Yeah.
important piece of the work.
So we need everyone to look at the policy between now and the next board meeting so that we can vote
Yeah.
at the next. Okay.
Because this is the graduation in particular, something you're considering implementing
For next year, not this coming year. So it's not a very urgent, because we're not voting it to implement this year. But at least you know what's happening, what kind of classes we're offering, and what kind of trucks we have here, those three.
I think from a marketability standpoint for the high school, that'll be a really value add.
Awesome.
Okay,
Robin's gonna have to update her brochure.
Oh, one other governance question, just as far as the board prep material, you know, we get the folder for each board meeting, it's linked in the calendar, so everybody can easily find where that information is. One of the things I realized is it might be helpful if we think about dividing that into what are we discussing in the board meeting and what should you read ahead of time, that it's just if you bring up a question that we would discuss it, because we're trying to be more purposeful in just these meetings and we save these meetings for discussion, not just updates. So that was one thing that I thought could be helpful in the board prep material, being really clear, here's what you want to make sure to read through ahead of time, and here's what we'll be discussing in the meeting could be helpful.
Really great idea.
Good.
So that's all for governance.
Okay, accounts payable. There was 3 transactions we highlighted in the packet here. Accident fund, that's our workers' comp insurance. The one I wanted to highlight though was Heartland Max, and that's where we spent just about $40,000, and part of that was $14,000 for servers at the 3 campuses. And what those servers were for, we got rid of AT&T in August this year, and we went standalone with our own servers. And so they're cache servers is what they are. They store data essentially to speed up the network. And we had actually budgeted that for $27,000 when we approved the budget back in June, so it actually came in under budget. We're also planning to get that E-rate reimbursement, so a net zero, so come in hopefully under budget, $27,000 for that budget line. We didn't necessarily discuss that in finance, but I wanted to give that update
That's
here.
good.
So, any questions over the accounts payable transactions for December?
Can we get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Financial statements, November, we spent more than we received by about $270,000. But if we're looking year to date, we're right around a surplus of $700,000. These are the financial statements that our accountants put together, and they include a forecast on this, and that's in that middle column there, that 602 at the bottom, so that middle column. Biggest change from last month, or the primary change, was just due to the state transportation annual allocation, and it increased by about $72,000. So just a little bit of a change in the forecast from last month. So one thing that came out with our food service review last for the 23-24 school year was we needed a bad debt section within our policy set, and MCE, that's the Missouri Consultants for that we were talking about a few slides ago with Mr. Bang. They also have this food service policy, and it's number 5,550, and it includes this bad debt section that we need to have within the policy, and it's to meet federal guidelines. And so this policy aims to ensure consistent meal account procedures to prevent unpaid charges from straining the district's finances. Like I mentioned, the food service review, one of the corrective actions required that we transfer general school funds into the food service account to cover any meal balances that we can't collect, written off as bad debt essentially. And so that's what this bad debt section of this policy covers. If we were to compare that to the existing policy, just 5 highlights here, and that's number 1, structure and content are pretty much the same, in the same format. They closely mirror the same purpose and administration. There is a section in there about annual cutoff, and that was one thing we talked about in finance, was maybe adding a provision in there for parents that elect to auto pay. And we talked about if our software allows that. Currently, our software doesn't allow it. We'd have to do an add-on for an auto pay option. So if we want to go down that route, we could add a provision. Dana hasn't reviewed that, so I'm not going to recommend that today. Third one is communication, and addresses communication. Debt collection, that's the biggest one that needed to be added in there. And this draft policy adds a more detailed process for addressing delinquent debt and reclassification as bad debt to be in compliance with federal guidelines. And then last one is just an update in the discrimination clause. I think that was all the highlights on that policy. We will need to be in compliance with our corrective action that we submitted to the state. We'll need to have a motion to adopt this policy unless there's discussion or if Dana has some additional comments.
Would not have done it better myself.
Just put in context, there's about $100,000 debt on the balance sheet right now of uncollected material.
Yeah.
How long, like,
I think it's over several years.
Over several years, yeah, it's accumulation. Yeah.
that, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was
Yeah, very much, yeah, as well. So I think it makes sense to strengthen the collections part to work.
One thing we identified too was the reminders last year were not happening. The reminders are not happening this year too. We're working back to rectify that. So.
Right, because I do think oftentimes parents don't realize they have
That
the
is
money,
true.
right? If your child is not somebody who consistently uses it and forgets to tell you that they've started to use it, then yeah, part of it is laughable.
That was good. Settle it.
Right, it occurred to me, I haven't looked in there lately, for all I know.
All right, so you need a motion.
Yeah, motion to adopt the updated policy number 5,550.
All right,
So move. What again?
Second.
What?
any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries.
What's the update with DESI? And sort of the needing to refigure attendance. I saw that was discussed and maybe there were recommendations of how to not let it happen again.
Yeah, just going back to finance here. So with the current year, we've switched to Power School, and the scheduling has been done by Jill Anderson, is what Roger's reported to me. He's confident that it's in there correctly. I still would highly recommend that we do an audit of how that's calculating. It hasn't been done yet, and so that's a work in progress. Hope to have that done by the end of next month. And then also with last year's attendance being updated, we should see an adjustment to the prior year correction this month. And so we have an update once that happens.
So I think we paid about $400,000 in change for FT, and we think we're gonna get back
250.
200, so the net's gonna be about 200.
But the issue is not connected, I was thinking it was connected to our Power School and how attendance is done, but those are two separate issues.
So they were
Or is
related,
it?
and it was a scheduling issue is what was identified. There were some gaps in the schedules.
The diversity committee met and talked about the calendar, the diversity calendar we focus on, and then the focus areas that we will be discussing this year. We also shared the audit results, the library audit results. We shared last year, but some other members wanted to see it again, so that we will be able later to talk about what action to take based on the audits. Okay, and also discuss the next Parents Academy. Would be on reading in a bilingual program. One thing that I should add is those academies have not been very well attended by parents, so we need to see how we can better promote it.
We talked about sending out flyers ahead of time, which I think it's always working on, to send out flyers ahead of time so they know it's going to be done with maybe a week or so before. Also, it's January the 23rd, so hopefully, folks will come out, hopefully no more bad weather, but, so if you can come stop by. So the last one was really nice. It was a really nice one. We didn't have a lot of people there, but there was some, and it was really good.
Yeah, they've been so good, and the content is so good. Yeah, and I don't know if we try polling parents or something. Is the time wrong? Is the day wrong? Because it's
Right.
just such good content.
It's at Cherry this time, so we
Yeah.
kind of switched locations too to make it, convenient for those that may live closer to whatever school.
Yeah.
So trying those different things too, and just kind of I think we need to kind of hype it up a little bit more than we do, and so we're just kind of trying some different things to see, can we get parents out and how can we do it?
Have we considered, I know initially some of them were virtual and recorded, so people can go back and watch the recording. It is a much more valuable conversation if you can actually be in person, right? So I know there are sort of pros and cons of both. Has there been any discussion of trying virtual or recording in person, just so there's ways?
Well, I think we've tried to record. I think we couldn't get anybody or didn't know anybody that could do, but I think Crystal might have had someone that we could have used at a point in time, but we didn't. But we talked about that, and then we talked about possibly doing virtual, but I think we were wanting to do more so in person versus virtual, since we did that so back in the COVID days. So, we're really trying to just kind of engage with parents more. They have some questions right on the spot to be able to answer those. So we'd really like to get them out in person, just so they can, visit with other parents if they have questions.
Can we invite people who visited us at the city school fair and we got their email addresses? Can we invite them to this? I know they're not current parents, but they're prospective parents. Could we invite them? Could we invite anyone who has submitted? I don't know exactly how the app works, but if somebody has submitted an application and indicated us, you know, so, yeah, it's like,
Absolutely. I mean,
can we get to that information and
Yeah.
get them in and get them
That
excited,
might be
right?
good too, because sometimes people want to see before they
Mhm.
take a dip in, you know,
Yeah.
so, that's a good idea. So I'll take that back.
Okay.
We'll consider that, because there was a lot of people interested in that Saturday.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people interested in our school.
Yeah, and especially I mean, it's like the table was busy all the time.
Yeah,
And especially the whole reading thing. It's like, if
Yeah.
you alleviate any fear early on about that, I think that could be good.
so I'll take that back, thank you for that.
Mhm.
I'm also curious when we do like kindergarten orientation for parents, like adding those kinds of things to the
Yes.
very first interaction, right? Because I know.
Almost make it sound like you have to be there.
We'll see you on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because these, I mean, God, the programming has just been so good at these.
Point of information, what was the library, what did it entail?
The kind of books we have in terms of themes, authors, and so on. And then topics to see whether or not there's enough diversity or representative of our student population. So we're trying to see.
Figured that, but I said, you know, parents may want to know what's in the library. Yeah, thank you.
It was done by our librarian last year.
Is that shared with parents? Like, here was the outcome and here's what we're doing, right? We found these gaps, and so is there anything?
No, we're not. We're gonna talk about it first.
Yeah.
Once we're done and have our own plan of action and talk to the teachers, then have it, that we can share it from. Yeah.
And what's the date and time of that next Parent Academy?
It is January 23rd, and I believe it's
6, I think.
tough story. It's 6:30?
6 is what I'm counting.
6 o'clock? Okay.
6 to 7:30-ish or 7.
All right, so everyone listening, 6 PM, January 23rd. Sherry, awesome.
Performance committee, what we looked at is the student attendance data. This is, we did the attendance by buildings, what it looks like for our 3 buildings. What you can see, of course, is there's slightly low attendance in the middle school. And we can talk about it later, compared to the others.
But that average is higher than what we budgeted for, right?
Yeah, 82% is what we budgeted.
Yeah.
But in the first semester,
How's it compared to the step last year? Because I know it tapers over the end of the year, right?
last year was a challenging one. It was surprising that what we had and what this year has, there was a discrepancy. But generally, prior to COVID, in the first semester, we want to be at 94, 95%. Because the second semester generally is where we have some downfall, and then we average around 94%, something like that. So it's not still as high as we used to have. 93% is still not as high as we would like to have. Now, it looks like it's a national problem, because everywhere you go is attendance everywhere. So to what extent we have been impacted by the same, that's what we see, that since the COVID, our attendance rate has not been back to what we used to have. For us, we used to have 94, 95%, whereas other schools would be at 70, 75, 80. So that's the difference. But we can, we're trying now since last month to share with parents the classes that have highest attendance by buildings, hoping that we will create more awareness, and then trying also to focus on kids who are not coming to school based on the classroom dashboards to make sure that the principal, the teachers, and everybody is on board to make sure it works. But here, probably with the middle school, we can talk about later here. Is the classrooms. Once we get to the classrooms, we can discuss it more in detail. This is the ethnicity one, attendance for the first semester. And this is by programs, ELL, peer reduce, IEP is individual education plan, the student disability, and then the total there compared to the district. So there's not a lot of gaps here. The lowest is the IEP students, which are maybe less than 2% point from the average. And in the classroom, as you see in the middle, you have 7th and 8th grade. That's where you have the dip. And that's where we have challenge. We hope it's going to improve next semester because 8th graders, in general, every year they go to do college, high school touring. And there have been a lot of absences in the first, especially the second quarter, because they're going to two other high schools and missing a lot of. And this year, since the last, how many years now? 3 to 4 years, we're doing attendance based by class. But that's the major problem in the 8th grade, is going to two other high school. So 7th grade is something that we need to look into and making sure that it is addressed. It will be discussed this. We will discuss this month by the buildings because they haven't met yet for the data. So we kind of in advance, and that's why probably the suggestion from the committee to put this in February would be better for next year. You're going to do this in February, and with the discipline one, it allows at least the buildings to look at this, analyze it before the board to look at it. So that's a major problem there, as I said, in the 8th grade. And then, as you see, there's slightly low attendance for minority students. It's slighter. And then we have a low attendance in middle school. And middle school, as you say, is mainly in 7th and 8th grade. And 8th grade is the one that has some more challenges. So, any comments, suggestions?
Mr. May, what do you guys notice for your 11th graders? It was like 9th, 10th, and 12th is really strong, and then for whatever reason, 11th graders slightly under.
Yes.
Anything stick out with your 11th graders?
11th grade down, and then 4th grade, that's a good question. I mean, 9-something for high school is fine, but we should do something. I'll go and check it. And see with Dr. Paul and see what might be driving that.
Sure.
And who's absent there.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
And I know one of the things we talked about, one, it is impressive to see high school still so high.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes in education, you see dips. In high school, you just see a lot more absences. Kids have more freedom. They have power. They can just So yeah, you typically see that dip in high school in a way that we don't here. And overall, even though it's not where we want to be, we'd still like to have higher attendance based on what you see going on in lots of other places. This is an impressive attendance rate.
No, attendance is very good at Academy Life compared to other schools I work with.
Yeah, it is just a challenge. It seems like parents don't put the same priority in getting kids consistently to school. Since COVID, they've just, I don't know, they don't take it as seriously as the only thing people can figure out, but it is a national issue for sure.
Yeah, the high school is what? Is at 92.5%. almost 93%.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it does get down to the conversations you're having, just individual students in classrooms, the reasons for not having good attendance are
Yeah.
different by students, so really just understanding each individual family.
Development,
Yeah, oh man, excuse me, speaking of, giving reports in a timely fashion, I did not get out, this probably did not make it to you guys today, this is the updated slides, how the around numbers development, I have been waiting on some numbers, some end of year numbers, the Stephen graciously gave me last week, and then I had to do some calculations that came in, a little bit after that, so I wanted to give an update here on where we stand for our annual fund year-to-date for school year 24-25 school year. Our budgeted goal is 490,000, so just below 500,000. Year-to-date, we're at 165.5. This is not inclusive of any end-of-year donations that came in after 12/20, so during our 3-week, 2-week plus 1-week break. And then I was though able to calculate the end-of-year appeal that will be included next month in the year-to-date total, but we did make about $40,000 in that end-of-year appeal. So that includes really starting from Generations Day to December 31st, the big end-of-year push we tried to get. So we're pretty happy with that number. I think last year we were 29, so that's kind of where.
And that 39 is or is not included in the
Partially, part of it is, part of it is not. Just because anything that came in hasn't been, it has been counted in our numbers on my end from a donation standpoint, but it hasn't been busted necessarily. It came in as a check. Some upcoming events that are we have 3 large events during the year that really target around over $100,000. It's obviously the raffle. And there are 2 big events in the spring that are about a week and a half apart. It's the Musketeer March, which is for our students. Our goal this year is almost 107,000, and then Evening in Paris, we are at $130,000 goal. And then what we'll be doing going forward too is any kind of grants that we're going to be applying for. The French Teaching Intern Grant is just open. It's a $4,000 grant. We historically get it every year, but that helps pay for a portion of our French intern. Any questions? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
We haven't had a development committee meeting for quite some time because they keep falling on breaks and cycles. So we are, it's going to be updated on the calendar. We are moving the development committee meetings each month to the 3rd Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m., so from 11 to 12. Hopefully, and we're expanding our development committee a little bit to include some grant writing support. I invited Robin King from admissions, but there's a lot of overlap there, but just an official notification that as of today, we're moving it to the 3rd Tuesday starting next Tuesday.
I think it'll be great to have more purposeful focus on grants. I think there's a lot we could be doing, but somebody needs to sort of have the time and ability to sort of.
Absolutely, and that's an area, grants and frankly, grants and networking, building some of our non-AL related donors, so the School Foundations, really development, the development department, true development, not just events and fundraising. So that is a big area of focus. So we're hoping to kind of nail down some better support and policies around that structure.
And we can talk about this in development committee if I make it to that one on Tuesday, but the breakfasts.
Yeah, so I did not include that on the second round because we are, I want to come to the next development committee meeting about breakfast, and then Brenda, we've asked Brenda, Coach Brenda to help support that as well, and she has some ideas she wants to run past Ms. Reagan and I, and I want to discuss that with the development committee meeting, so we can kind of come back with a more thorough approach to that.
Okay. And then the only other question is, for that end of year appeal, are you gonna do like a follow-up email or something and kind of try to get a few more donations?
Oh, sure, yes,
Yeah,
yes, for sure. They will not count towards ending the year tax deductible. The
Oh,
money
yeah,
that's
right.
For the 2024 calendar year.
Yeah,
Which is where that comes in. But we have, this is something we can discuss in the next meeting too, that gap between January to March, really, it's kind of a lull. And so we've been, Elise and I have been playing around with some communication structures that we can do to kind of promote some more unique giving. So highlighting alumni, highlighting parents who give on a monthly basis, kind of just showing the various ways that, communicating out various ways that we donate throughout the year, because it really is a pretty big wall between them, that if they're not getting monthly giving, if you're not getting monthly giving, we're not getting a lot of other funding coming in.
yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Great.
I'm curious, have we ever thought about spreading out monthly gift margin giving in Paris more? I mean, those are two of our largest dollar events that we ask a lot from parents. To have those fall, we've got a couple, probably works against us.
Yes, yes, we have, yes.
Just so much in good weather.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly, we're a little limited, on when we can do evening in Paris, you know, we can talk about maybe moving that up to the February timeframe, but also people, historically, galas don't tend to do as well wintertime.
Right.
But it's hard to make it fall in the fall, because it feels very busy, a lot of activities going on. And then in spring, we can't really push it past, really can't push it past the end of April, because May just gets, right? We did ideally wanted to push it a few weeks back to April, but the week following this, is Easter, so we weren't sure. Okay. Yeah, it would be, and then we had something else going on last weekend. Yeah, we joke about that, and I would love ideas, because it does feel like a lot. I mean, you know, Musketeer March is primarily the children going out and getting it, but we know that it's the parents who are getting involved in that. And then 2 weeks later, those same parents are coming together in Paris and also giving money at the same time. Yes, I'd love to make it on our little mark. Yeah. Yeah. And we toy around with that, like a Mardi Gras type of event, or something that, you know, be like consistent year over year. Right. That's what I would say, I think that's how it used to be. Like, look into that one.
Next, let's start with
That was a cute photo.
That's funny.
thank you to Yael Israel, Caroline Court, Marie-Catherine Marchand, Melanie Sean, Madame Gay, Clarence Gomsiu, Linda Harris, and Angie Williamson for leading the grade level content team. Just for context, we did on the January 6th, the vertical teams, content team. So we're starting to do that with collaboration and the PD committee, so that all the math teachers will be meeting here and talk about math. So these teachers were the coordinators leading the teams.
That's great.
Francois Guevara, Madame Guevara faced a challenging start, but has since adapted exceptionally well to the Carmela environment. She's now thriving in her role and serves as a valuable resource and reference for her colleagues. As a kindergarten teacher, the dedication and effective teaching methods ensure that by the end of the school year, the students are able to read. Congratulations.
That's great.
For I'm recognizing Lena Ufaibi for the amazing positive impact she's having on our team. The vibrant energy, generosity, and warmth are all characteristics that are creating a more cheerful culture at Arma. Thank you, Lena. I should have added the good food too.
Yeah.
For the leadership recognition, and G. Williamson for helping coordinate the district PBS. PBS is positive behavior system training that we're implementing from kindergarten to 12th grade. She's been extremely helpful doing it. The PD committee for coordinating professional learning priorities. We've met at least twice now, and great things, great people. They did surveys of teachers' needs. We took our need, we prioritized 3 things. That's what we're putting together here. And all is Pojaru for organizing a great fun staff holiday party last Saturday. Thank you very much.
Where'd you go?
75th, what's the name of the place?
75th Street Events. We're very much with CBS, CBS, 75th Street. River Road. Yeah.
I had no idea that was the next bit.
A lot of great dancers. Good. For the academic one, Spindle has been meeting with every grade level. I met with grade levels, by grade levels, teaching school. I mean, it has taken almost 2 months. And meeting with building grade level, but also combined and so on, just to explain why we're doing the data dashboard. You see it on the right side? This dashboard I told you is about, you remember the board look at the district level data. The principal present the building level data, but we don't want the teachers to know their data. That's, as we say, that's where the change is happening, not at the higher level. So by the meeting, and the most important thing, that's why I put it here, is letting the kindergarten teachers know for what they're preparing their student. Understanding what is college and career readiness, and how do we know what is expected for all this one. As you know, DESE has a clear standard for college and career readiness, for high school readiness, and for kindergarten readiness. But there's nothing in the middle, so we needed to put so that teachers know all the way what it means when we college career readiness. Remember, we have foreign teachers who may not have any clue what high school means here. But what we discovered is, by presenting it, everybody sees the big picture, then a lot of great conversation, a lot of suggestions, including presenting this thing to the parents. Because they think parents and students need to understand all this continuum and what is expected at the end, college career readiness. And then why do we use a data dashboard? And how do we identify in kindergarten who is on the track to be college and career readiness and who is not? How do we intervene earlier with number 1, differentiation in the classroom, number 2, push and pull in with a paraprofessional, and then number 3, academic support, and number 4, summer school targeted intervention for those kids to be able to start early. Now this year we're starting already in kindergarten, not kindergarten, 1st grade in the 2nd semester. This has been approved for, I think it costs another $10,000 for additional teachers to help in first grade up. So this is what we're working on and making sure that everybody is on board, understand really who is struggling and how to make the support very, very quickly.
So is it like a check mark, or is it kind of a scale
For
of
the-
where they're at on
Okay.
Readiness?
What do you mean?
I mean, what does that look like? Like,
For the teachers' dash.
yeah, for the teachers.
For the teacher basketball,
Yeah.
what it look like? It's more complex. Let me. I'm
Sorry, I didn't mean.
It's
I
fine.
didn't come to
I just
the
wanna.
meeting.
No, it's actually,
I just wanna
Oh,
do
okay.
it.
All right.
Listen. We have the dashboard there somewhere. So what is presented is something like this. I'm not going to present you all this. It's going to take too much time anyway. That's what it looks like. And then showing telling teachers how it's tied to our objectives, our strategic plan, and what is the data we're tracking, and who is doing what. For instance, here is who is doing what, whose data is it. what the superintendent is doing, what the building leadership is doing, what the classroom and the program is doing. So everybody knows, tied to our strategic plan, how do you track this data? We identified already, and then who's doing what, the calendars, and then the graduate profile, what are we looking for, especially what it means for college career readiness over there, and for different types. So now, this is what I just presented to you, what it means. If you look at it, what we're looking for are IB courses for 12th grade, for high school, you know it, ACT, college credit, career and technical education, real-world learning, employment, and so on. And then for middle school, we're looking for how many kids will be pushed into Algebra 1, English 1, and ICAP. I mean, ICAP is a individual career and academic plan that every kid needs to have. So that's what we're looking for. So, and then we have kindergarten, but what we want is making sure that kindergarten and kindergarten first and second grade work together. By the time they finish second grade, kids have the English and French competence and math competence. So, and then what we need for high school readiness, middle school readiness, we have created a meeting between 6th grade team and 5th grade team to tell them what they see the kids are missing, what they expect kids to be prepared when they come in 5th, 6th grade before they arrive in terms of mathematics and so on, organizational skill, work habit, and so on. So that's what we do. But going quickly to the, so this is what we did for college career readiness and tracking in 12th grade, and then do it by ethnicity to make sure that we're closing the gap before. So this is what class we did. All this is an example. It's one of the, this is the 5th grade, for instance. We look at all the blue, the red, the green, and then.
So each line is a student?
Yes.
Okay.
Each line is a student, and we do the quarter grades as you see it here. There's something that's not showing here. Ethnicity, who is them, IP student, who is an ELL student, attendance too. So why we're doing that is, if a kid is in red, what we want to see is, we want to see what is the attendance rate of that kid. If the kid is absent all the time, then that's where we need to start with. If a kid has an ELL, so we want to see whether or not the ELL plan is implemented, how do we pull all the teachers to support the language of this kid? If it is a behavior issue, example, how we work with together, and so on. And then before we get to the academic part, and that's where we determine whether or not, what is the right intervention necessary. It is it's differentiation in the classroom with the teachers. For those who generally in yellow, those who are in red may require multi-tiered approach of, differentiation, professional academic support, summer school, and so on. So that's what we do. So a teacher can see with one board the classroom and then can cross the data and say, okay, the blue one is where they are, or for the red one, in terms of ethnicity, attendance, 504 for ELL, and then grades. And then over there you can see we have mock tests and we have NWA tests too. So it's a tower that they can see, and the teacher, the principal meet with the teacher from time to time to see who are identified as kids struggling and what is being put in place.
And blue is good, red is bad,
I wouldn't say red. Red is struggling. High struggling. The green, green is proficient. Blue is advanced. We want to push more blue in, more kids in the blue area. Now our goal is, the goal is you take kindergarten or first grade, we want more blue in May than in September, or green. So how do we do it? Is supporting the teachers for effectiveness, training, and different things. So that's what we're trying to do, to make sure that teachers know this. And most of them will appreciate it and then appreciate the meeting to understand who is blue and is career ready, IB ready, example, and how do we identify it earlier in kindergarten, first grade, and then have a multi-year approach to support of those kids.
This is great.
It's awesome.
It's so thorough.
It's come a long way.
And right, when we used to do all this by paper and folders.
It's great.
Yeah.
There it is.
So how do I get to my first one? Okay.
Thank you
yeah.
for sharing.
You're welcome. Yeah, it didn't have to take it, but they gave me really great suggestion. Great suggestion from teacher, very engaged, very thoughtful. How do you do it? How do you start early? And then who do you support? How do you support them? And even, as I said, that kids need to know, understand this. That's what the kids need to understand that. At least fourth and first, fifth grade need to understand. And then the parents also. And they're having also discussion, which is very unfortunate that some of the parents of kids may not see themselves going to be an engineer or doing certain things. They're limiting their perspective with, and it was testimony from teachers that some parents not seeing their kids to be that successful. So we need to develop the self-efficacy and the perception, and then making sure they're on board and know why we're working together.
And purposefully helping students just explore what are your college and career options.
Yeah.
Because typically they only know what their parents talk to them about, and that can be a very limited view of what, like, I don't know about a lot of careers, or I didn't before I did the work that I do now. And so I think being purposeful and helping students understand what are all of these careers and how do you get into them, and do they all require a college degree? Do they not require a college degree?
Yeah, we have ICAP is required for us. ICAP is every kid has a plan. It's an individual career and academic plan where they want to explore and study in 7th grade. Now, I'll tell you the real world learning, not real world learning. It was the DESI when the commissioner was presenting the strategic plan. It was last Thursday at the Kaufman, and the Kaufman presented their real world learning. And in the document there, suggesting that we start early to get the kids aware, 4th grade, 5th grade, every grade level, so that they're aware of what needs to be done. So it prompted me to go and create a document. I hope our principal will send these guys out there and create another document, a spreadsheet, and for these things, and then by grade level all around, from kindergarten up, just to start the conversation of what do we need to do for these kids to be where they need to be.
Early.
So, early. So it's a lot of work, and then of course our teachers have a lot of things to do. We need to make sure they manage their time and effort, and then not making them feel they're wasting their time. So, but this one, again, I've got really good feedback that thank you for explaining this, because for kindergarten student to understand, teacher to understand all the way what is the track, academic and professional track for the kids and where they need to do has been extremely helpful.
And I do think the college and career sort of exploration starting early is a critical piece of this, understanding here's the world that you have access to, but you need to get through high school successfully first, and all these doors are open to you, because if they don't know that, they don't connect current school with future opportunities.
Yeah, and then again, as I said, middle school teachers understanding what it means high school readiness. How do you, and not only that, we did it this way, but we break down currently what do we have in 12th grade, in 9th grade, and 8th grade, and 7th grade. What are the gaps, learning gaps? What are the achievement gaps we have? Why do we have less minority, and then how do we make sure that this 4th grade class, before they get to 9th grade, they change the landscape and that's what we try to work on. Okay, so as I said, the professional development committee, we have a committee that identified these 4 areas to focus on PBS, because again, you know, we have 4 schools. We need to have a uniform approach to supporting behavior system. And then now we decided, because previously we had elementary school doing PBIS, middle school doing some sort of different things in high school. So you see, you have the fifth graders, they graduate, come here, they come in lost, they're lost. But they have a completely different system. Why do we do that? As opposed to continuing PBS so they understand it, at least all the way to 8th grade. And then after they can, that's what we're doing, and then making sure that everybody is on board. And the other, we think that PBS and DEI are two faces of the same coin, because teachers' concern were consistency in behavior management. But parents and some kids are saying, okay, my teacher may not understand, they have biases. They don't understand what's going on. So if we train the teacher's boss, they'll get it better, what it takes to teach in an American environment school. And the third one is teacher collaboration has been huge. As I told you, we're doing the vertical collaboration by now all our all our music teachers, we were able to meet and to talk about continuum, the curriculum from kindergarten all the way here. What is happening, there's gaps. All the computer science teachers, for instance, our high school computer science teacher meet with the design teacher in middle school, the computer teacher there, try to see how do we better prepare these kids to do this, and so on. So we have many teachers who volunteer to be the coordinator, team leader of those vertical curriculum teams. So course record is 16. We will be finalizing the 2025-2026 calendar. So the principals are assessing staffing needs for this year and then starting the hiring process. Hopefully this year we won't have a lot of challenges with our visas with the new administration. There's a lot of discussion about H-1B and J-1. Hopefully we may not have that issue, but that might be a problem.
I think we should be starting to think sooner rather than later about what the backup plan is if there are issues.
Yeah, the COVID year was terrible. It was so tough. But anyway, the COVID, when we had the COVID, when nobody would come here, was very difficult.
Yeah.
And then some people were stuck. Was very tough. Hopefully, we will be able to get what we need. Academic support, as I said, has been extended for more students in lower grade, and especially in first grade. Saturn reviewed the academic support rules, because academic support, the way it was done is point. It's another document, maybe I should go it. So there's another document of who is taking into account the grade in the grade level, the grade, the NWA, the MAP test. So we look at that, and then who has the lowest point has priority. So and then there's also we look at teacher recommendation, what is necessary or no for eligibility. So that's what was done. This one. So that's what was done to have an idea of what we are talking about. Okay. I hope it's this one. Now I should hopefully I won't mess up things. So this is what it looks like. Because I have my own thing and different presentation. So this is what we do for eligibility for support. If you're below basic, so you have 0 point, 10 points is basic, 20 points if you're a professional. And then you see the percentile for NWA, those who are below 21 percentile, 21 to 45, 46 to 50, and so on. And then the class grade, if it's elementary, if you are below 2 or 1 to 3, and then so on, class grade where you are. Which one recommend teacher recommendation, yes or no, and so on. And then we added up the point to see who is eligible. And depending on, of course, the availability of teachers, parents and teachers too. But we have a good conversation about, we need what we are budgeting, put more money in the academic support because that's where we make a difference. So we need to, from now on, I mean, this year already we increased it, but making sure that we have more started early. This year is going really well. And then having the buses available at the first quarter. Because the buses were available only, I think, in December. And some of the kids were not able to come. Because
To the after-school tutoring.
Yeah, after-school tutoring because of transportation. So hopefully when we have enough bus now, we should be able to start early in the first quarter, at least to transport kids and start it early.
And I do think being really thoughtful about how do we allocate resources to make sure we have what we need to do that individualized support, because that's what it really ends up being needed if we're gonna get all the kids into the blue. Yeah, I think it definitely is something that we should prioritize for.
Yeah, it's gonna be a multi-year effort, but I think that if everybody's on board and our teachers, our principals are doing, the good thing about sharing the data with everyone in the building level is everybody is part of the problem-solving process and being aware. Everybody in the building should know what was their attendance rate in December, and which grade level had some challenges, and what do we need to do to solve that. That's what we're trying to get to. I did this one, what else?
I think back on that other slide, when you have what PD is focusing on, the French immersion.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, and I don't know, I think internally, to our parents and also to the community that K through 8 is still French immersion, because I think sometimes out there the perception with the high school is, oh, it's not French immersion, so Academy Lafayette's not French immersion anymore, and then we're focusing on different things, and so I think it's important to make sure we're making that still very clear, because it's so important.
Yeah, we're French immersion, yes. One of the things that we've heard during the conversation with teachers and principals is the need of having a curriculum coordinator, a curriculum director. We don't have it now. Myself and the principal, we're doing it. I enjoy it, by the way.
It's a lot to take on.
But Heather will say you can't do it, so. Yeah, they're right. That having, we had only one year. 1 year where we had director of curriculum, instruction and assessment, 1 year. But because of budget part and the needs at Oak, we were able to move, to change things. So we big now, we need somebody to make sure it's overseeing what the curriculum, and making sure we have it where we need it.
Yeah.
So that's the conversation that have been feedback we receive.
I think we need to continue to be purposeful as we grow as a school, growing our team, because it is a lot for sort of building leaders and you to take on. As we continue to have more students, we need more specialized people on the team.
Yeah, that's true. The thing is, as I said, firstly, I like it because background of inspector, that's what you do. It's pedagogy. It's more than fundraising or doing those finance things. Yeah, you do, but we have, and our principals also need some, of course, some breadth there. They're doing a lot of things. So having somebody to help coordinate it would be helpful, very good. Yeah. Okay, what is next is the IT.
Yes.
So as you know, we had a cyber security incident. I sent it to you, to the board, and I shared it with the teachers and staff. So personal information have been accessed from their system, from PowerSchool. And I Googled it, and I saw a lot of districts send almost the same email to their parents that they have access. And their parents and teachers were notified. So at this point, the IT department is assessing the magnitude of the incident and then see what kind of data we may have lost or not. But there have been some concern, of course, for personal data. mainly our teachers. So we will look into that, and then as we have information, we'll inform everybody what is going on. And we will also receive more information from Power School. But it's very frustrating to have to do that. You know, we're thinking of identity theft and so on. So that's an issue.
On that, so I know that that wasn't an actual, school breach or breach that happened in school systems, but to the system they use. But like, when is the last time AL has looked at their cybersecurity, I guess, procedures, policies, updates, and things like that?
Very good question. I know that the IT department is very, how do you say it, very protective. Extra, and it's frustrating a lot of people. And sometimes it's hard for me to arbitrate between safety, and I don't want Roger to come to me and say, I told you so. Okay.
We totally get it.
And then you have teachers. It's like all this the conversation about, I don't know if you follow it, the conversation about, what?
YouTube, no?
Yeah, YouTube and using of a filter. I spent 3 years arbitrating between Roger and the middle and high school team, leadership team, because the one we had was very strong. Kids can do researches, can do all those things, and so on. And a lot of frustration until we come up with the middle ground where the teachers can use some website, and then the student, especially middle and high school, when they're doing their project. And then now there's a whole conversation about what kind of filter we need to do. So what I'm interested in is something that's safe and won't prevent kids and teachers to do their job. I know before, by the way, on those last 3 years, not this year, but 3 years before, we did the same thing, look at different school districts, what they have, Lincoln, and so on, until we come up to that. So those are the issue, and I always tell Roger, I'm listening to you. I know it's not popular sometimes, but for me, I don't want to be happy, and then we have to pay $1 million for something,
Right.
Or things like that. So, but that's a good question to maybe, I'm going to ask Roger again, what do we need to, if you have a outside assessment? I know he has been very connected about what's happening and very paranoid about safety. And a lot of issue he may have with people is about safety.
Yeah.
I have a lot of example of people, and I'm saying, okay, I have to listen to what he's saying, because again, hacking is a problem. So that's where I am.
And it's tough because, yeah, he had it so locked down that teachers are going, we need more stuff. Then they need more stuff, and the kids can access more stuff. And so it's like maybe taking a new look at, okay, what's available now and how can both sides be.
Yeah, but it's something that has been, school districts have been targeted. I mean, I'm sure, yeah, it's an issue. But I'll ask him to see if we can have, I don't know if he's an audit, safety audit or something. Didn't you have a insurance that will require something about safety, something like that?
Yeah, we have a
There's like a
cyber insurance,
cybersecurity
and there's
insurance.
like a incident response. I know he's working to get his ducks in a row and get that submitted.
Yeah, because you have to have that part, and then keep your data safe. You don't have to pay $1 million ransom, and keep the students safe. And then let the teachers be able to teach and the kids be able to research.
He can be overprotective about things because he's thinking about who's having access to what and what they can use it and so on. Maybe because he's too much informed that he's paranoid about it. So, and me, I just don't want to say, no, we do this, and then something happens and say, okay, I told you don't do it, but yeah, it's where we are at this point.
Yeah, because if there are systems, or I don't even know what, that we need to invest in, then it'd be good for the board to hear what they are and be able to say, yeah, let's put budget toward that. Okay.
Yeah.
In normal school contract, is there kind of provision to cover this data breaches? Do they have liability to us? They keep bills of material, anything like that?
What's the
Is
question?
the power school contract that we have? Is there a provision related to data breach and?
Maybe we should check it then, I don't know, we should check it then. It's in our first year with them.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe we should check it and see if there is there's a data breach, anything, yeah.
There's a real cost,
Right.
So, still, the test, our test is the French test. This year we start testing our kids in second, fourth, and sixth and seventh grade, I think. Sixth and eighth, seventh grade, and then high school also. Just to see where they are. It has been completed and by grade. NWA test, the winter one, test has been completed for grade. It was done before not. I need to check that one. Quarter two ending also has been, is ready to be wrapped up. The quarter two with the snow, they have some delay with the report cards be sent by Power School. ELL also has been set up to be tested. There's another test for ELL, English language learners. Shankar, have you done the winter NWA or not yet?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Friday.
Good. So this one is the
When is the advanced assessment result coming out?
it's already out.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
good.
It's out.
Will we look at that, because I know that hasn't been on our sort of
Yeah,
performance committee calendar since we haven't done it.
Yeah, it wasn't that. So I haven't even personally seen. I need to. I saw it as a formative for teachers to look at it and see how to act on it. So I haven't
So the
personally.
results are going to be sent to parents as well?
I will go and check what's going on.
Okay.
I do think it would be great to hear. I know there's not much you can read into it since it's the first time we're doing it. This will be sort of the
It's
baseline.
the baseline, yes.
Interesting, to take a look at.
But it's probably some benchmarks from other schools and we just need to see.
Probably national. Yeah, we're gonna do another one in the spring.
Oh, so you will do it twice a year?
So any other questions? I think any question about anything? Yeah, again, we have a fantastic team, and we also we're working on for next year, and then I met with that team, the teacher advisory team, when Mr. Rocco was sports chair. The grandfathers, the founders, some of the teachers who founded the school, they have huge number of days, never ended. At some time they decided to cap it at 300, so, but that's fine. But what kind of incentive we should be doing for those who, either we're paying them a symbolic amount of money or something like that. That's a discussion. Those are two major topic of discussion with the teacher advisory committee.
Do you have someone benchmarking salaries to compare?
Well, we look at all the other things. Yeah, we look at that. In general, at the end part, we're fine because it's at the beginning that we have an issue. If you have been here with us for 30 years, going somewhere may not be a good idea because you may lose or something. I mean, it's kind of competitive at the end part, because we try to reward staying here longer. But at the first 10 years, that's where you may have a high problem recruiting people, because everywhere is very expensive, and everybody, with the extra money, people have millions of dollars, they raise the salaries.
Yeah.
So we need to be more competitive, not only competitive, but also, life is expensive.
Right.
Right, yeah. and teachers have a very hard job, and so we need to sort of reward them for doing the very challenging work that they do.
So we'll be working on a new salary metric and then projection of what it looks like for the last 5 years, in terms of sustainability and so on, yeah.
So at the next board meeting, we'll talk about salary and recommendations for all of these unused sick days, like how to potentially reward.
Yes, we may not have to decide on that one, but at least salary we have to, because we
Right,
have to send the contract, and we need to start early.
It'd be nice if we could decide on that one
Yeah.
too, but yeah. Okay. President's report. I sent out the survey for board members to take, so please take that. And remember, as you're taking it, you're looking at it from the board. Are we doing these things? So the school may be doing those things, but are we as a board engaging on those things? So a reminder on that. And then closed session. We don't have one tonight.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
My only gift to you.
You don't have enough gifts for it.
We don't have it, so we are adjourned.
Already? Wow.
I know.
This is awesome.
This is what we were talking about.
Yes.
Great.